Hello and welcome to this Warhammer 40k video with me, Marc from the Xenovids channel. So this video is entitled Let's Build an Eldar Army kind of thing. As you know, I already have quite a lot of Eldar models in my collection. They were pretty much one of the first main armies I loved when I started collecting. I'll put a link in the description below to my showcase video of my Eldar. I have had more since then, but that demonstrates about 4,000 points-ish of Eldar that I have. So I thought I'd start a series. This is going to be about collecting Eldar, creating a 2,000 point force, and it'll be a video log series that goes along the rest of the year. So when creating a Warhammer 40k army, it can be quite exciting, obviously, but very, very daunting. Especially if you are collecting a new army you're not too familiar with. So like I said, I'm going with the old Craftworld Eldar because I've got most of our models from them, and I kind of only really play one list, which is okay. It just kind of, I kind of pick and choose what I think is really good. So I've got a few Aspect Warriors here, I've got a few Wraith things here, so I kind of wanted to start right back to the beginning and just start again collecting an Eldar force, which does involve some repainting of a lot of models because I painted them about 5 years ago and I've got a little bit better since then. So when starting a force for Warhammer 40k, you have to think about two main things, really, is what I like to think about. The first one is colour. The second one is creation. Colour and creation. So colour is about the painting side of things. Creation is all about creating the army. Now in the colour side of things, you can have fun with it, you can experiment, you can research like myself. I like to research on Google different painting tutorials professional painters have done for the models and get an idea of what I want to do. Now the theme for my Eldar list was the last of the Eldar, so I would paint all the Aspect Warriors in their traditional colours, and then I would have all vehicles in Samhain and jet bikes, scouts, Elitic, Wraiths, Iyanden, and most of the Farseers in Ulfway. But now I kind of want to start again and choose one of the main craft worlds for the Eldar, and it's between Samhain and Ulfway. In the previous editions, Bialtan and Ulfway were the main predominant ones, followed by Samhain. But in the latest codex, you go through it, I mean the front cover is a Samhain warlock essentially, and it's all Iyanden or Samhain in the artworks, in all the model pictures. I mean their centre page is Samhain. And I've had a few experimentations, so this was originally how I painted the Wraith Guard, and now I have painted it as a Samhain and really like it, and I'm going to go in that colour scheme. Now your colour scheme may affect your army, so for example traditionally Samhain have a lot of jet bikes, they've got a lot of Vipers, they've got a lot of fast things. Bialtan, for example, uses the Avatar more and Aspect Warriors more because they're of the warrior race. Ulfway, they use Warlocks and Farseers and a lot of Storm Guardians rather than any Aspect Warriors. And Iyanden use a lot of Wraith Guard, Wraith Blades, and Wraith Knights and Wraith Lords, of course. So you can do a fluffy theme like that, or kind of do a more competitive generic list with the Samhain theme, and that's what I'm going to be going with now, a Samhain colour scheme, but I don't want it to restrict the creation of my army. I've chosen that side. Okay, so going into the creation side of things, it's always good to have an idea of what you're heading towards. Now on Mini Wargaming recently, they're doing a nice campaign series between Quirk and Dave where they're creating a chaos list and kind of going through the HQ, having a few different units and doing different missions, which is kind of cool. And if you do narrative campaign, it's quite good to be doing things like that, which is fun. Most people though go for a set amount of points per army 1250, 1500, 1750, 1850 and 2000 are the ones I see the most. Ian and myself usually go for 2000 points because we're able to get more on the board and we just enjoy having lots of models basically. And so that's what I'll be working towards, a 2000 point Eldar list. So in the newer codexes you've got added complications or benefits, whichever way you want to look at it. It's basically creating your war host, and you've got this guideline. Now there's 3 ways to create an army. There's the bound, standard, old-fashioned. You start with a HQ and 2 troop choices, and then you build it up to have an extra HQ, up to 4 more troops, 3 fast attack, 3 elite and 3 heavy support. If you go for that army, then you have benefits claiming objectives over your opponent if they didn't go for that type of army. An unbound list is basically you going through the codex and deciding, I want 10 of those, 20 of those, a couple of those, and just having whatever models you want on the board within that army list. So for example, you could get about 5 or 6 Wraith Knights in a 2000 point army and just have that, if you really wanted to. Or you can go through this Craft World War Host. Now the Necrons have a Decurion detachment and kind of thing, and I think the Space Marines have something like that, and it tends to be this is the way it's going forward. So what it does, it helps you create a kind of fluffy feel to your army, giving your army benefits. So creating the Craft World War Host from here, if you follow this, you get an immediate benefit, which is any model that can run, instead of rolling a d6, you automatically run 6 inches. Now why is that important for Eldar? They've got an army-wide rule called Battle Focus, enabling them to run and then shoot, or shoot and then run. So it makes their infantry maneuverable. So you have a potential of a 12-inch move with all your infantry models and still being able to shoot potentially. Then as you go into these little boxes, for example this one here, the Dire Avengers Shrine, which has 3 units of Dire Avengers, this little formation has added benefits on top of the overall benefits. Now there are restrictions. The detachment must include at least 1 core, which is over here, which I'll be going through. For each core you can have 1 to 12 auxiliary and up to 3 command choices. So the core choice is what you go for first. So the core choice is a Guardian Battle Host, which is a Farseer, 3 units of Guardian Defenders, a Viper Squadron, a unit of Warwalkers, a Val's Wrath Support Battery, and 0 to 1 Warlock Conclave. A Wind Rider Host is another one. 1 Farseer, 1 Warlock Conclave, 3 units of Wind Riders, and 1 Viper Squadron. A Guardian Storm Host, 1 Farseer, 3 units of Storm Guardian, 1 Viper Squadron, 1 unit of Warwalkers, 1 Val's Wrath Support Battery, and 0 to 1 Warlock Conclave. Now, if you were going down the road of doing it in a particular theme, so for example Samhain, you would go for a couple of Wind Rider Hosts because they've got 3 units of Wind Rider jet bikes, and that is generally what you see in that kind of army. So you'd get a mass bike army. For Ulfway, you go for the Guardian Storm Host. You have units of Storm Guardians, you've got Farseers, Warlocks, Storm Guardians, then get obviously Wave Serpents as transports. Guardian Battle Host is kind of more Baltan kind of feel. Now going into these benefits as well, the Guardian Battle Host, you can have support, heavy support platforms essentially, and you don't have to pay any extra points. So normally, for example, 30 points would be a Bright Lance. That would be free. In the Storm Guardian one, they can have fusion weapons or flamers, a special weapon. Well, now you get that for free, without any benefit, having any points to it. The Wind Rider, they have an ability that you get shred on all your shuriken and jet bike stuff for a round. So there are benefits to taking these. So what I was going with is a Guardian Battle Host to start with, a Farseer, 3 units of Guardian Defenders, 1 Viper Squadron, 1 unit of Warwalkers, 1 Valzerath Support Battery, and 0-1 Warlock Conclave. Why have I gone for that one? Well, the support battery has always been good, and I've always used that to at least 2 Guardian squads that way. Farseers, the more I use them, the more I like them. They are for support and psychic defense. Viper Squadron, cheap-ish, maneuverable, great weapons. Warwalkers, I've never used them. I've wanted to buy models for a while. Now I have to for this formation. Wrath Support Battery, I've never used artillery. It could be quite interesting. So I've written that out, and I've got 1 Farseer on a Wind Rider, being a Samhain theme, 10 Guardians, 10 Guardians, 10 Guardians, all with Bright Lances, 3 Vipers just with Shuriken Cannons, 3 Warwalkers, 2 with Bright Lances. 3 Warwalkers, and they've got 2 Bright Lances on them. 3 Valzerath Support Battery Cannon, and I've given them D weapons. They've got the option to have a large blast weapon or a D cannon. I've gone with the D cannon just because I like D weapons. But if I wanted to shave some points, I could rein that in. Just go for the large blast in case I go against swarm armies. So all of that is 900 points, just about. So that is the core choice. So I've gone from there, looked over at the command choices. Now you have the Heroes of the Craft World, which is an Autarch, Prince Uriel, Eldrad, or Iliac, which is the sniper guy. A Seer Council, which is 2 Farseers and 1 Warlock Conclave. And Living Legends, which is the Avatar or any of the Phoenix Kings, essentially. Now, the most cost-effective one that I can see there is the Autarch. Have I ever used an Autarch? No. I recently saw, again, on Mini Wargaming, an Eldar versus Eldar battle report, and I really liked the layout of one of the Autarchs. So I've gone with that one. In this Samhain colour schemed army, I'm going to have an Autarch on a Wind Rider with a fusion weapon, and possibly a lance as well. His role will not be to lead the army with the jet bikes that I'm potentially getting, but to be crafty and pick his units. He'll be in cover. He'll move out of cover. He may shoot his fusion. He may assault into a vehicle. He's got a lot of manoeuvrability with the Wind Rider. They can move 12 inches, they can turbo boost 24 inches, they can move an extra 2d6 in the assault phase if they need to. Generally, Space Marine armies have drop pods. So if you have a drop pod with a squad or a dreadnought come on your side of the field, this guy will be able to fusion that vehicle, fusion the drop pod, and hopefully tie up the unit as well. So adding the Autarch with the fusion and the Wind Rider is 95 points, bringing the army so far to 1005 points, which is pretty good. So far you've got your psychic defense, an Autarch, which is a bit crafty, 3 troop choices with Bright Lances, which are strength 8, AP 2, 3 Vipers with Shuriken Cannons, giving you the ability to shoot troops down, 3 Warwalkers with a load of Bright Lances, again vehicle or monstrous creature killers, and the RAF support battery with a D cannon. D cannons are dangerous. I've got a want list as well. So on my want list, I've gone for a Wraith Constructs. So I've got a Wraith Knight, 295 points. I love Wraith Knights. Every Eldar army should have one. And I've also gone for a unit of Wraith Guard with a Wave Serpent. Okay, so next is, I looked at the Wind Rider host, and the formation itself didn't really appeal to me hugely in benefits. So I've taken elements from it, and what I've gone for is 3 Wind Riders, a unit of 10 Wind Riders, and 3 more Vipers with Shuriken cannons. Now, 3 Wind Riders and 3 Wind Riders will allow me the ability to have distraction units and objectives takers, or contesting objectives. 10 Wind Riders gives me a lot of options shot-wise, and my opponent something to think about. Having 3 more Vipers with Shuriken cannons is a maybe for me, as I've already got some of them, but it gives me extra Shuriken power. It is 1,992 points. Like I said, I could choose possibly to take those D cannons off the Wraith supports, as I've got Wraith Knight and Wraith Guard, and have them as large blast hurting my opponent. So in this army I've got Psychic Defense, essentially. I've got Autarchs, I've got Vipers, loads of different things, but no Aspect Warriors. That's the thing, no Aspect Warriors, unfortunately. But I use Aspect Warriors in my list at the moment, so I kind of wanted to get a theme of Samhain. And that's the army I'm going for. Thank you very much for watching. This has been part 1 of the series. I'm going to be going through the series and giving you updates of models I paint, if I tweak the army list, and how far along the army is. So I'm going to Cambridge today, and I think I'm going to see if I can get an Autarch model, if they sell them in store. If not, I'll have to purchase one online and keep you updated on that one. So thank you very much for watching. If you are starting a new army this year, please comment in the comment section below what you are doing, and go and have a look on our Facebook, like it, and then drop us a message and tell us how far you've gone. If not, put it in the comment section below. How far along are you with this new venture in 2016? Thank you very much for watching. I've been Marc from the Xenovid channel. Please comment, share, like and subscribe, and keep me posted on what you do, and give me an idea if I should tweak the army list. And I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.